What is up, y'all? It is me, Tasha C. And if this is your first time watching me, or if y'all haven't seen my recent videos, I had a cold since Friday. I'm getting over it, y'all. But my voice seems, a little bit, a little hoarse, and I might be coughing here as we do this video. That's that, y'all. This weather and everything. That's it. We got one more episode, y'all. It might be a longer video for the season finale, which will be premiering next week. Which will be, if you notice, y'all, it began with a movie and it ends with a movie with Mary Jane, okay, y'all. But I do plan, even though I really watched, by the way, but it's still BET, so it's the same thing. I am thinking about reviewing the game. Now, I haven't seen last season, but I haven't seen On and Off Game for years. But I haven't seen last season. I've been watching, like, I think Bonnie Blue and Ashley Miller were the ones reviewing the game. So, was Kelly coming back, y'all? I heard last season's good anyway, but this might be interesting. So let me do Be Mary Jane episode 647. I don't know. I'll put the description below, y'all. Now let's get this out this way about um Denise. Denise, I don't mean like Denise is Denise the name, but Denise because I don't know the child's name by heart, Patrick's daughter. Now let's get into Patrick. Patrick, the father coming to him about, he thought about the gala, about he's now because of the recent slip up, even though they didn't test him, and he has basically relapsed to his cocaine addiction, even though he's saying once, you know, usually once some people, sometimes once you just eat stop, it's basically like a train wreck, you can't stop. And so the dad's basically like, you know what now, we're gonna have to start testing every month now, you know what I mean? And Patrick's like this, you know what? I'm moving out. I'm 42 years old. I'm sleeping on a futon, something like that. It's time for me to leave out. And the dad is like, well, once you leave, this olive branch will not basically be extended to y'all, more. And Patrick's like this, well, let it be this time. So Patrick's dilemma is now it's like, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead, and he feels like he's not. He just feels like he needs to do more and be out of this house. So that's pretty much all Patrick's story. They didn't bring it. They're bringing it up now. They're trying to develop the younger brother's story, and towards it just seems like either they could develop if they were going to tell these storylines. It's kind of like unless maybe they bring excuse me, y'all, unless they bring back this series where it's not where it's not so many months later or a year later, nothing like that, or even past 6 months. Sometimes we on season 18, unless and it'll be four seasons all in 1 year. So what I'm saying is, as far as people attend, some people who are waiting for something so fast, you're so used to stuff being. I know I'm off the subject, but what I'm saying is, considering that we're trying to develop so many people's characters and so many little episodes, it's a little too, it's a little too much, So it's like trying to build Paul's character towards the end, and what the heck happened to Tracy? Is Tracy coming back? What's going on here? So, um, we get that the way. Denise, on the other hand, Patrick's daughter, is going back to Lisa. That's her prenatal doctor, and she decided. Well, the mom already told Mary that she wants to get her tubes tied. Now, I guess she's doesn't want to deal with birth control thing or whatever. She just want to be able to screw, not have to worry about taking a pill or certain the diaphragm incorrectly or some get lost. I don't know. But she doesn't want to deal. She just want to fly get her tube tied, and she realized, okay, maybe she feels like she's starting a pattern because she brought up when she overheard Mary Jane talking to Lisa, her doctor friend, that she wants to, she was like, my granny's going to pay for it. Because, of course, Mary Jane is almost like the main or breadwinner because we get reminded how she usually uses the money to pay for a lot of stuff. And she was talking to Lisa. Lisa's like, friend or not friend, bitch, it's complicated job. This is my goddamn job and shit like that. I ain't about to tell you shit. I don't care if we were, growing up since we were two, okay? Which I don't blame her because she was like confidentiality because I think she went to, like I said, to meet her at the mom's house. And, that's also another story about that I was kind of surprised it didn't go into more in this Lisa story because Lisa was the one in the first actual episode after pilot that was like 7 months earlier. that had this breakdown, and we don't see any more of her about what is going on in her circumstances. And so after that, um, after that, we're basically dealing with her, the niece heard her and she was just like, you know what, I'm going to follow this. If she at least don't do it, I do. So the Granny was going to pay for it. But Mary Jane's thinking like, since I'm paying for everything, I'm supposed to know for everything. And but she ends up talking to first that she was the niece was ignoring when she was putting her clothes on her, on her son. And then the dad can hear, and he just took the child like, you know what, so the grandbaby, well, let's get out this mess, let them figure it out. And she basically let her know, like, you know what, here go Mary Jane, basically with her side of the argument. It's like this, you're 19, there's people are, your age is going to school, starting life, blah, blah, blah. You on your second child, you know what I mean? And, you're still in your late teens, basically. You're not even in your 20s, your prefrontal cortex is not even developed yet. What the hell is you doing? And she's basically like, well, how the hell are you going to talk about me? Because she's basically saying, like, even when Mary Jane was bringing up her child's father or quote baby daddy, whichever one, she's like, well, even though he obviously just been brushing off through the whole entire pregnancy, the only time he was there was to conceive the child, and that was pretty much it. And now all of a sudden, she just felt like, well, I mean, he was good enough that he gave me a daughter, whatever, right? So, anyways, she sat here and was basically like, well, how the heck you gonna talk about me? So what are you talking about? I'm supposed to wait and be like, you decide to do certain decisions, so you wait for me to make a decision? What about you? You ain't got no kids. You ain't got no man. So what is you talking about? And you know how Mary Jane just had this look on her face like, I am happy. So it kind of faded after that because she ended up, the child ended up waddling out the room and stuff like that. She talked to the mom. I know I'm all out of order, but this is all connected. She ended up talking to the mom, right? And we've been seeing the last few scenes that we've been seeing Mom throughout this entire episode. She's back to wearing I forgot what the wrap up around the head thing, okay, that she has around her head. She's not wearing a wig. She just seems like she's just stuck back in the house, if y'all notice, throughout this entire episode. But she did, talk to her daughter. She told her, sit and talk to her. She said, the baby's hormones, stuff like that, the niece is pregnant. And she just like, she was just talking to her, and then that's when Mary Jane admitted that she was just like, you know what, Mom, I haven't been right. I've been messing with a married man. I try to get away, and I can't get away. And then the mom was just like, you know what, just cry about it in the night, right now, and then take care of the morning, because you gotta make things right. And she basically hugged her daughter. Then later on, I don't know if it's later in the scene. Let's get the mom out the way, since like I said, a lot of people would just making guest appearances, right? Then we'll go to the brother, then we'll go to Mary Jane's situation, okay? / Carla. Yeah. So, anyways, y'all. Now, the mom, and I thought maybe it's just me that she also brought this up, but she discussed it with her husband. He's sitting in the bed, and she's sitting up, and I don't know where she had with that's real hair, but she took that thing off her head, bunnet thing, whatever. Excuse me, off her head, and she basically was like this, are you into Carolyn Miss Platinum Table? The woman he got basically was pimped on the front table last episode, and a couple episodes that had is an interest in him, and who knows how long she been after the daddy. And so she was like, well, the woman's vivacious stuff, because he's just like, why would you think that I'm with somebody, right? And, I'm cheating on you. And she's just like, due to her health and stuff like that, doesn't put in complications and stuff or whatever. I have a lot to deal with because of circumstances. And they definitely made up, because all of a sudden there you see the parents kissing. You see from a distance, you can see the mom's back, like, she just riding them in, I guess. So they're all smiles now. So thumbs up to the parents getting it on, because that's how we got here in the first place. So anyway, they are in good service, and that's how you don't see another episode again. I bet you they would have turned back and they would have had smiles on the face next morning. So anyway, so that's the end with the parents. Now, here's the whole thing with Paul. Now, Paul, Mary Jane and Andre, the beginning of they I think it's a day afterwards they have this argument, which I'll get into in a minute, right? Paul is banging on the door like he is the goddamn police, Mary Jane's place, and he basically was going to re-up some more weed at some dude's spot named Chris or whatever, right? And he's able to escape, I guess, out the window. I forgot what he was saying. Probably most likely out the window, or the door, because he said they were raiding the inn. He was saying something about, I think it was a bunch of Mexicans, something like that he was saying, right? So he ends up able to leave, and he left the backpack, and it had weed, and I think about 5 G's in there. So they were able to get, confiscate that. So that's able to prove, because Andre has some dude that is a detective. I mean, I don't know if he's in the narcotics department, but some hookup. Whereas if he got the right people that can somewhat make certain situations like that go away. And he talked to this dude because they found out through this guy he knows, and also knows their wife, or their wives is cool. They one of his married friends. That they confiscated and had this evidence. So Paul, in another scene, right before I think Andre's about to take him to go see this dude or make the situation go away, right? Because, Mary Jane had to have a speech with him, like, you know what, you're a son of a CEO, I think, a part thing, you're also a sister of, I think, the sister of an anchor woman, or, popular anchor woman. He's just like, you're going to school, you got to go to town. Remember, and then she brought up a story about basically not just supporting the family. Because she's like, remember when Dad found out, Patrick was using again, and him and his mom our mom got in an argument, and he left for 6 months? And then he came back, and he was just like, don't be disappointed again to our family, basically, right? So he ended up, basically saying, because he wants to, once he leaves school, I guess he's not trying to do this permanently, but once he leaves school, he already has a land set up for architecture school. He wants to make a house for Mom because she's getting sick and blah, blah, blah. And he was saying, it only costs $300,000. He already got already planned a certain amount of land to do this house for his mom, and especially and stuff for the family. But he says he's just like, whatever, took the base, and Mary Jane basically, I think, told her to get out the room. And, he goes with Andre to the dude, and he's basically first making some live with the car, because the dude's like, man, got you at the spot, got your backpack, and he's trying to make it seem so crazy, just about some, I think I don't know if he had the weed in there, forgot y'all, but I know he at least had the cash in that backpack. And so he's like, you know what, he's trying to claim, Paul is telling the detective, for Andre's detective friend, you know what, that was a down payment on the car. And the dude just looking like, okay, you know what, you leave out here, I'll talk to this boy. So when him and Andre were able to fix it, I'll go later on detail about a little bit more about Andre and this dude's conversation. And he ends up, basically able to get off, and he talks to Andre afterwards, like, okay, you're able to get off. And, Paul's concern is like, okay, well, since I'm not guilty and whatever, and this case is basically going out, why, I need my backpack / cash, okay, whatever. And Andre's like, you lucky that you, basically like, go on with that bullshit, whatever. One of them type of conversations. You know what I mean? So it just really wasn't too much frivolous about that, right? So basically, Andre did told him to get the car. I guess was drop him off. I guess, I don't know, maybe at his parents' house. And so let's go to Kara's situation. Now the Kara situation is when the mom was talking about when Mary Jane was on the way to work. Carl, she's crying in the car. Then we see a scene, first Mary Jane trying to ask her to work, and she was just saying her and her ex, I think, separated or ex-husband had some type of argument. And then we see later on that it turns out that her kids and the father, and she feels like the father's turned against them, which, the thing is she is so hungry for the career that unfortunately it has, turn and, made it where, it became first before her family. And so on the other hand, y'all, the kids are basically saying the boys is like they want to leave their stuff in their dad's house to much to move. Then the younger boy, he's about maybe 8, 9, 10, I don't know, was saying like, when mother mommies come up, first thing she was like, I take you to school, David. They're like, you take us so early. And the next complaining line was the younger boy was talking about, you know what? Other mommies come to the school and they eat with their kids. And another boy's like, you don't come to my games and then like that. She was like, I came there 2 weeks ago. And other boy's like, I think the younger boy, because the older boy was talking about the games. The younger boy was like, well, you know what? Mom, you know, they may have jobs, but they're able to think. So it's one of those type of conversations. So after they had left the room, Dad, I think, told them to leave the room because he suggested that they stay with him full time, and she just, you know, it kind of, course, is a little frustrating and kind of ends the next scene. So she ends up telling, I guess, her and Mary Jane was working one night, and she finally admitted to her that, you know, her ex-husband suggesting this, and so she ended up letting us know that she thinks that honestly that her husband is the better parent, and you know, because Mary Jane's like, "Are you serious about doing this? Are you sure? You sure?" And she's just like, "You know what? I think he is, and I may consider it." Because she's like, even though she loves her kids, she's worried about this news thing. Okay, really, she has proven that a couple episodes. So it's pending on there, and she's gonna let the kids stay with the dad. So it kind of is for care. But I mean, she appears a woman thing because we're about to go over this Mary Jane and Andre stuff. Now, Mary Jane comes is sitting there with an apron ready to cook for her boyfriend slash somebody else's husband, and a dysfunctional relationship happening in there, as I said in the last episode. And so, um, she comes in, and it turns out, like I said, everybody's, you know, talk about 6 degree separation, okay? He's kind of weird when she's cooking. He's just basically doing this to food, basically, you know, like making the mashed potatoes, like it's playing with like his damn near Play-Doh and shit, about to make a damn house or whatever he's trying, because that's how much he's playing with his fork. And then she's like, "Is somewhere on the food?" And he said when his boys was at the gala, sent him a picture, and then of course, you know, we see in the background her and David dancing. And then, of course, interesting enough, he decided to ask if she's sleeping with David, which, like, ironically, we already know he was sleeping back with what. Well, I'm just saying, we already know this is how functional. So just like she asked him, was he still sleeping with a wife, he's going to ask if he's still sleeping with David. And she, you know, they basically get in an argument about that. You know, like, how you going to ask me? And he, you know, Andre's like, "You know what? I left my wife on account of you." And here she got nerve to say, "No, you left because she, you know, whatever, because your marriage sucked," or so around this way. And it's just like, you know, so they basically have one of those arguments. Then he's up here claiming, like, look at the text message. He's still letting her know, like, he has not told his kids yet that they're thinking about getting divorced. You know, these kids are still thinking daddy is on a very long ass trip, and business trip, rather. And, you know, they basically argue that he ends up walking, you know, first he's leaving to walk in the car. And she's like, "Da, da, da, da." But as soon as she sees he was about to turn that alarm and stuff, then she, "No, no, no, don't you leave. I'm sorry, blah, blah, blah." So he ends up driving off, but he's obviously not too far away from the house because he ends up coming there or whatever the next morning. They make up or whatever. She gives him the key, you know, and stuff like that in the shop. But you know, "Oh, I'm sorry, blah, blah, blah." So now he's completely, I don't know why I thought he already had a key to the home, right? And I think this is right around the time, like I said, picking back up where Paul was knocking on the door, blah, blah, blah. And I don't think to this day that she ever told Paul who the hell it was. So Paul was like, "Well, who's this? Don't matter, okay?" So to fast forward, when Paul, you know, when Andre is going to take care of taking care of Paul. First he gets his text. First he gets his text from his ex-wife to be, and it was true they did talk divorce. He didn't have it, and he said yes, that he's gonna come over divorce. That was a little later on, because then, you know, of course, Mary Jane, she had some red bottoms on and some wine, some lingerie on, ready to get on, right? But when he went to go see this detective sergeant or whoever it was with Paul, after he told Paul to dismiss y'all, he sat there and basically the dude was like, "You know, what's going between you and Avery?" And he admitted that he was seeing somebody else, and it was an April woman, and that knucklehead is her brother, something like that on the runs, right? And then the dude was like, letting him know, this Marcus dude. Now Avery has been sitting there waiting, you know, twiddling her thumbs and shit, whatever, and just starting to get cooch webs on her. You know, she's moving on. She ain't trying to get no webs on her cooch. So she is sitting there already like, "You know what? I can play the game too, and probably better than your ass." So he just let him know, like, Marcus took out Avery last night. "Dude, you know what? Don't do this to the kids. Whatever. We grew up with both our fathers, bro. Don't sit here and like mess up anything." And then you thinking, like, he was letting him know, like, you think that woman is gonna sit here and take the situation with your ex-wife and your kids, just all that stuff together and do with that stuff, man? Come on now. Now Andrew's like, nah, man, I got this. One of them type of ways he was acting, right? So when he went later on, when he goes to see about his wife, ex-wife, whatever. He opens the door because I think they're talking divorce, and it seemed like he sits on the couch and he tunes out. I don't know if he was hearing kids or maybe it was a reminder about the marriage or the good times he missed. They didn't show a visual, so I don't know what was going on. It's like my fourth time calling you. I'm so sorry. So, but he ends up leaving out of there, and so going back to, like I said, it's been proven that Mary Jane is obviously only with Andre for one of the main reasons is still not having sympathy for her ass, first to me. But one of the main reasons is because she actually wanted, David. And she up here Google searching at least 3 damn days in a row. Now somebody texted her, I think I don't know if it was a cousin or something, but somebody, her niece or whatever, text her about his new girl was on page in this magazine, and she telling Kara at the office like, you know what, somebody give me something. I need a magazine. I need a magazine and stuff, right? And all of a sudden, she ended up getting the Kara's like, I give you $40. First person give me this, and then when the person gives it, she's like, I ain't got cash, but I'll catch you later. So they find this chick, she all like, trying to compare herself to whatever, like she's only a 6'4" line, who is this fashion blogger, she saved the kids, well, who is this bitch? Basically, that's what you damn near want to say. And so later on, again, when she at the mom's house, and somebody else, she's still up here Google searching this chick and see pictures of her and David and stuff like that on there. So she's still concerned about her quote-unquote replacement, that David has chose over her. Okay? So, fast forward, make a long story short, when she ends up talking after the mom, I guess she decides and realizes like it's not healthy to continue this relationship. She ends up talking. Andre comes back. I think it's after he comes from him's and Avery's old home. I mean, still Avery's still there, but So he ends up sitting there and talking, and she's like, we need to talk, and then she said, this needs to end, blah blah blah. And then at first, it was one of those conversations where he's just like, what do you mean it has to end? But then all of a sudden, a couple minutes later, you think they're about to start school, right? Kids your child top in, right? And then all of a sudden, she says, we can't do this. And he's sleeping on one side of the bed, she's sleeping on the other side of the bed, right? And then she comes to realization, she's like, well, maybe your wife will take you back to having one conversations, but she realizes and accepts it wants to be over. So, when he leaves, I think the next morning, he was like, I'll get the rest of my stuff. So she's up here doing another news anchor thing, and then he leaves the key using one of her damn posters that she probably gonna need for another damn 10 damn quotes. He's like, something about, okay, all right, have a good time unraveling or something. Not about a good time unraveling, okay, watch it unravel or something, but something along those lines of grabbing, leaving the key while he gets ready to shit while she's gone. And that's pretty much how it ends. And then we see the season finale thing and blah blah blah, and it mostly deals, at least the previews are dealing with David. So, other than that, y'all, that's my review. I'm about to take some NyQuil and go night night, and I will see y'all next video. Y'all have a pleasant week and pleasant night and pleasant evening. Thank you for all the love, new subscribers, my YouTube fam, and everybody. I love all y'all, and see y'all in the next one.